So we'll start this session. We have got a very eminent personalities. One is Dr. S. Somnath, ISRO chairman, US chairman of ISRO. He is in US, but the early morning he talked to me. He said he had sent his speech and recorded because it's a odd time in US. So we will play that first, then Dr. V.K. Matthews, then Sri C.J. George, then Dr. Balasubramaniam from the NFTDC will talk on the critical minerals, and Srimati Minnie Anthony will talk about the KIFBI and its experience. Sanjay Dash will talk about the silver economy, and KDISC, Sri Unnikrishnan is here. All the innovations which he is doing, where the Kerala has to become R&D hub, being the birthplace of the greatest scientist ever born on earth who had the technology to go to sun, moon and stars. It is believed that he tried to change the planetary position of the earth. He is from Kerala, so we should become the R&D and the science and technology hub of the world. And KDISC will talk about what they are doing to promote innovation and R&D. First, I think we'll start with the presentation from Dr. S. Somnath, former chairman ISRO.
Good morning. Sri K. N. Balagopal, Honorable Finance Minister of Kerala, Sri K. R. Jyotilal, Additional Chief Secretary, Finance, Government of Kerala, and all the distinguished panelists who are here for the Vision 2031 for the state of Kerala. And I'm very happy that I could participate for this program, though not physically because I am traveling. And when I think about the Vision 2031 for Kerala, what comes to my mind immediately is the work done by Department of Space and ISRO for creation of some of the finest institutions in the state of Kerala, specifically in the domain of science and technology. The Vikrasarabai Space Center that came up later by the far-sighted vision of Sarabhai in creating a rocket design and development center there. The Mother Center created many more institutions later. The Liquid Propulsion System Center at Valiamala, the IASU at Vattiyoorkavu, Ammonia Perchlorate Plant at Alua, Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology at Valiamala, and many other interactions and connections that ISRO developed within industries and ecosystem in and around Trivandrum and other parts of the Kerala. For example, Keltron paved way for building electronic systems in the early phase of the space program, and it continues. The KMML and along with ISRO developed the titanium sponge plant, and many other industries such as the BrahMos, KAL and others worked with the space program in building systems for rockets and satellites. And not only these institutions, but then we collaborate with other institutions such as ITI Palakkad, SIFLS Trichur, and many other private industries who are contributing to the space program in and around Trivandrum and other parts of Kerala. But when we look at the Vision 2031, what comes immediately to our mind is the strength of Kerala in many domains, including education and the possibilities that provides because of the serene situations in Kerala and the very good living conditions that is provided. And also the early strides that the state made in the domains like information technology and electronics. I think it has created the Keltron and Technopark, which were some of the pioneering work in this domain. And we look at the industry ecosystem, and also we see that there are very good pioneering industries that were created in early part of the state development. They remain very important for us. And looking further in the emerging technology domains, we see many areas that requires attention in the days to come. For example, even in the space technology domain, which I am more familiar, we see the discipline of building rockets and spacecraft, the communication infrastructure and earth observation, position, navigation, timing related activities really has great role that can be played by the state. And if you look at what specific activities that can be done, I find that domains like GIS, for example, the geographic information system, the satellite imaging, and value addition that can be done by the skilled people in the state of Kerala. The domains like the manufacturing, for example, the manufacturing requires very skilled labor. I am looking at advanced manufacturing capabilities like such as additive manufacturing, high precision manufacturing, electronics components and products, sensors. I think all of this requires the type of skill that is not easily achievable or developed in other parts of the country. I think that Kerala has a specific advantage in that point, in that part of that segment. And what we need for that is to create training institutions in Kerala, specifically focused on these skill development and employability. Such models are existing elsewhere in other parts of the country. We need to replicate in creating some of the training centers specifically related to the MSME sector to create very skilled manufacturing people, for example, using CNC machines, additive manufacturing, CAD/CAM operations, precision manufacturing, rubber molded components, electronic assemblies, quality checks, NDT, composite manufacturing, which is again a very high skill domain. All of this could be developed through creation of specific training programs. So we should be able to contribute large segment of the youth from our state to this sector of industry, not only for the state of Kerala, but also for the entire country. If you specifically look at geospatial technologies, I see a great opportunity because the imaging from space could be received by the ground stations that could be established at low cost in the Kerala, and we can train large segment of society for use of this for various activities. In fact, if you look at Kerala, we don't see much of training possibilities currently established in institutions, specifically education institutions in geospatial domain. This need to be addressed very seriously when we need to produce large number of scientists and technocrats who can handle GIS activity. Another important area is definitely related to design and development of spacecrafts and rockets. And this domain requires knowledge, and we have huge pool of scientists who retired out of space program who could actually create institutions to train youngsters to handle this. For example, the emerging startup ecosystem in the country in the space requires people who will be able to do this work in the mission design, control design, simulation, software development, which are of high technology domains. Some of the startup companies who have working in Kerala really getting sufficient mileage in these areas. Electronics production and manufacturing also has a huge opportunity. For example, the electrical wiring and soldering systems, harnessing systems, test equipments, manufacturing and supply of all of this really has a huge potential. Software development for space system is another area, and I see some of the companies who are working in Technopark really are some of them are contributing here, and I see the technology software development activities in this segment is actually growing, specifically in automotive sectors, unmanned and automated systems, etc. And space is something very similar to that, and some of them could actually contribute, specifically dealing with AI for space application, image intelligence for space application, object identification, hyperspectral imaging processing, etc. If you look at other technology domains other than space, we see the ability of Kerala is in developing electronics and software has really can pave way for the new domains like the fabless chip designers who are already there in Kerala. Some of them are already there, but then we can actually create more opportunities for them. Biotechnology, it looks like is an emerging area which is focused on skills and training which need to be imparted. For example, the computational biology, computational chemistry. These type of skills requires developing institutions who will be able to impart such knowledge. And I believe the digital university can play an important role in establishing skill sets and trainers for people to go into this domain. In the technology domain, I see traditional medicine manufacturing is again another area where we can bring in more of automation and skills in making medical systems for traditional medicine applications. which can be really marketed very well, and it should be supported by technology rather than the traditional approaches. Again, in the tourism segment, the roles that can be played by digital applications and tools that could really pay very well. For example, the type of facilities and infrastructure in Kerala need to be showcased. Geolocation, virtual experience-based training kits could be developed that can be really, attractive even for healthcare and lifestyle systems, which can be integrated to these information services. And some of this application, I believe, that can be actually originated from the state of Kerala. Agriculture and food processing is again another technology-intensive area where we look at food storage, preservation, IoT-enabled collection, distribution, drone services for delivery of this. This could be yet another area. I think fish production and fisheries-related technologies, inland fish cultivation with technology support for especially water treatment, nutrition management, sensor-based parasitic avoidance and removal, environmental monitoring of this ecosystem to ensure there is a protection and surveillance of all of this, market access from the fish production to this, all of this could be technology enabled. Climate and weather is another area, and that we see this every day in Kerala, that we need to have significant expansion of monitoring for rain, floods, and other related calamities, and landslides and coastal area protection requires specific monitoring, and how we can monetize this monitoring for the society as a business activity is something which we need to look at. I see education skilling in Kerala still requires technology adoptions. I think this is happening by the state government by bringing more smarter classroom, etc. But then EdTech and bringing the AI-based learning tools in the schools and other educational training kits must become a business activity for the state to capture the country's market, possibly the global market. I would like to conclude saying that all of this requires significant contribution from the government, initiative from government, from policy side, enabling such industries to be incentivized for their role that will be played in the local governance and delivery and services, mandating some of these activities to be moved toward the technology sector, and digital governance, which is some of the important activities that the government initiatives will really help in jump-starting these activities in the state of Kerala. And I believe that the technology ecosystem that need to be developed in the state of Kerala will really help state to look at 2031 and beyond with great possibility for that the bright people, educated and skilled people in the state of Kerala could be able to come back and contribute to the state of Kerala, creating investments and employment opportunity in many technology sectors. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak a few words and share some ideas, and wish all the very best for the Vision 2031 for the state of Kerala discussion that is going to happen. And I believe that good collection of recommendations and suggestions and recommendations will definitely come, which will be ultimately be used for the benefit of the people. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Somnathji, for the technology ecosystem for the space technologies is the one recommendation, and with IAST and ICER and VSSC, LPSC, Liquid Propulsion Center, and all the ISRO institutions, I think Kerala is ideally the best place for the space-based industries. In fact, the only place in India where liquid hydrogen is available is in IPRC, where you can go to other planets using it as a fuel. So we tried with Ashok Leyland and Reliance. A truck which goes from Kochi, it can go up to Mumbai with no need to refuel in between. That's the advantage. And that's the ecosystem. We are working with IPRC and ISRO, how we can make the bus and trucks, long haul trucks and bus, to move to cleaner fuels. I was telling about the green. Kerala can become the best model for the cheapest, probably the liquid hydrogen and that can be used for shipping also. Already Cochin Airport and along with the BPCL has built the model where they use the solar and they water, they convert into fuel. So I think that's the future. Lot of things can be done. Thanks Dr. Somnathji for joining online. Now I request Dr. V.K. Matthews, I think he is IIT product, then he went to Harvard, he set up first product company of India when the rest of the people are maybe doing service, but he is one product, even the Heathrow airport runs on his software. Even 1 microsecond delay, the entire flights in the Europe will come to a standstill, but he manages everything globally. And Blackstone, this is one company, one product company in where Blackstone has invested. So Blackstone MD was my junior in IIT. So I met him in Singapore. I asked, what all you invest? Then he said, I have got the investment. I invested in 2 health sector, Aster and Kims. And then I invested in IBS. Such a beautiful, and they have invested almost 38 billion in India. And this is a pride of Kerala. What probably Infosys and TCS and all to the other states is IBS to Kerala. In fact, he will talk about the new technology and what needs to be done on the R&D, the skilling side, as well as the ecosystem for future growth. Kerala has to become the place for the techno-economics and future technologies, whether it is AI or quantum technology. So I think he will talk on that. So I request Dr. V.K. Matthews to address.
It's good afternoon, so I was about to say good morning. Honorable Minister of Finance, Sri K.N. Balagopal, Additional Chief Secretary of Finance, and my good friend Jodhilal, dignitaries on the dais, and all the people in the audience. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. What I would like to say, I was asking Jodhilal how he would like to see the session conducted. He said, probably give a 10, 12 minutes of the topic that you want to say, and that will be completed, and thereafter we can take questions. So what I thought I will briefly cover is, before we talk about the future, let's actually look at what is the context today. The context not just in Kerala, but globally. It's very important because that's the frame of reference. Then we will look at how Kerala is and our own context. And then let's see what could be the vision for our state. And if that's the vision and that's the context and that's where we stand, then what should be our priority areas and what should be our priorities. So I would like to bring to your attention, so during the last 5 to 7 months of this year, ever since Trump came to US presidency, things have become extremely clear to us. It cannot be clearer. One of the things that we can actually say is he has shown us how vulnerable we are. In other words, so it started with the trade agreement breaches. Basically, all of the bilateral and the multilateral trade agreements that countries had, whether they were the allies or adversaries, all of them, he said, he disregards. And how could he do that? Because there is a clause, there is a provision in the Constitution of United States that if there is anything which is affecting the national security interest of the United States, the president can invoke that and he gets unlimited powers, and no agreement, no patent, no copyright of any kind will come in the way of the president exercising what he should do to ensure that the security of the US is restored. And that's what he has invoked. And he can invoke the same thing today. And why I say the future of Indian sovereignty and that of many countries is not very, very safe and sound. I'll tell you the reason is this. As you know, sovereignty means the supreme authority of a country to govern itself without external interferences, and it has multiple dimensions of territorial integrity or sovereignty and economic sovereignty, political sovereignty, and security and military and all kinds of dimensions. But over time, the sovereignty of a nation has changed from physical to economical to industrial to digital and technology. Today, if US president, or either advertently or inadvertently, if the technology platforms that you and me use from morning till evening. The day of an Indian citizen, you and me, starts and ends with technologies which are owned, operated, controlled by the United States or China. 99% United States. If that is disrupted, that means starting from you looking at the wake-up call to your WhatsApp messages, to Zoom, to Teams, to healthcare, to transportation, to flights, to power generation, everything will come to a standstill. If they say that the country of India, I'm not saying country of India, and it's not just about the US, it's about the issues of a unipolar world. If they decide that the services by American companies, all of the platforms that you use, should not be provided to a country because that country seems to be hindering in the security of the provided country. We can be not just 50 years, ladies and gentlemen, we could be 70 to 100 years back. We will be, today morning I was talking to Chris Gopalakrishnan in the context of the some of the topics related to here, and he was saying, we will all be dead. That is the reason why the future of sovereignty is at risk. And what does it actually mean? And I'll say why we are in that position and what opportunities that it presents to our country and to our state. And the reason why we got into that situation is because if I look at research in our country, there is hardly any research. And both in quantitative and qualitative terms, for example, the per capita R&D investment of our country is $17. When it comes to US, it is $3,000, and Israel as a small country is $3,700. And when the rest of the world spends something like 2.5% to 4%, we spend 0.7%. And we are still a small country when it comes to per capita GDP. So research in our place is done by people who do not get any job. Research is considered as an indulgence. We use technology which is developed by others, and we use science which is invented by somebody else. We teach science. We don't have science. We don't have technology. It hurts us when we say that we have no technology. All of the technology you and me are writing, creating 58 lakhs of software engineers in this country, and perhaps a tenth of that in the other countries is creating technology for somebody else. Our researchers, our scientists, our professors who run the best of research in the rest of the world, but we don't have any in our country. Ladies and gentlemen, this cannot continue because India is not a small country. It's 146 crores or 1.46 billion people. It is not about US, it's not about us. It's about the dangers of a unipolar world. It cannot, actually, I am not saying that every country should be doing everything themselves, but it cannot be a total dependence. At least it should be an interdependence which will give us some levers to push when the push comes to the shove. So that's one. And what is going to happen, and this is grossly understood at national level, and I'm sure at state level also we should be understanding, there will be significant in-depth impotence towards research. And if that is the case, we have to look at how do we benefit? How do we actually benefit from this? How do we actually create research as an absolutely essential thing? We have to create knowledge. We have to invent. And we can. And the reason is because most of these platforms and most of these technologies which actually control our life today is actually created by us. Except that it is created in a different kind of a framework, so therefore we don't own it. So when it comes to the number one recommendation that I would make here is the government should drive. In many occasions, there are many examples of how research can be professionalized. For instance, in the case of US has a model called government-owned, commercially operated or contractor-operated. It used to be government-owned, government-operated, go. And it has changed. Sometime in the 1930s, they have changed actually to government-owned, commercially operated, because research is much better done in private than in public. So government facilitates. For example, Bechtel Corporation, which owns 8 major labs in the US, and one of which is the Oak Ridge National Laboratory, the director of which visited India when Sri Achyutanandan was the chief minister, which Jyotilal would remember, and I'll tell you about that later. And they were looking for a lab to be established outside the US, and they were in China, they were in India, and because we knew him, we were able to invite and bring him to our state. Now, that's where Einstein made atom bomb, and that's such. And in 2006, when he visited India, 2006 or 7, he visited India. 40% of the US patents used to be from Bechtel Corporation. 40% of all US patents. Now, of course, the landscape has changed dramatically with all the emerging high-tech companies. But the point is, we have to really come up with, at the national level, they have now created, quite similar to the USF, so US Science Foundation, we have created in India, if you don't know, there's something called NRIF, that is National Research and Innovation Foundation, which is basically coordinating the research taking place in all the organizations. There are so many organizations through which Government of India is spending money, and we should do research in technology. Actually, we cannot do just research and knowledge and leave it there. It has to lead to technology and products so that we are able to use it as well. So that is one of the areas for Kerala. The second point, this is about how the R&D side. The second point is, all of you have heard, you in different depths, the disruptive impact of AI. It means different things to different people. We were saying that the future of jobs are changing, disruption is happening, but it is now here with us. If I look at my field, which is IT, technology, we employ, Indian IT sector employ 58 lakhs, 5.8 million software engineers. And it creates huge amount of opportunity because of multiplier effects. And if somebody is actually, even when Jyotilal was the IT secretary, we even created a slogan, supporting IT, supporting people, because regardless of the background from somebody is coming, if she or he is able to get a job in the IT field in one generation, they get to a different level of strata. So it's such an inclusive thing. But this is hugely disrupted. Out of the 58 lakhs of people that we employ, not less than 70% is involved either directly or indirectly in the process of code generation. They write computer code. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with the help of AI, we should be able to have considerable part of that draft code generated by the machine. And this will have an impact, a huge impact on, and it has a social impact too. And we should be very careful how we deal with this in our state, because in our state, people are aware of their rights, and they are, we could be militant as well. We can clearly see head counts not growing. We can clearly see layoffs coming, because most of these companies are expected to renew their contracts at 30-40% discounts. So as a result of which, we could see some sort of a push there. Now, what does it mean to us and for this conference? That is, we should really look at how do we upskill our people. AI will not actually make you redundant. If you don't use AI, if you don't walk side by side with AI, it will make you redundant for sure. It's not only in IT field, every field that you are in, whether you are a lawyer, an attorney, or a teacher, whether you are a medical consultant or a business consultant, all of that will be affected. And we have to ride this wave, and we have to allocate funds for it. We have to come up with frameworks. How do we actually use it as an opportunity and not be crushed by it? And then do the normal things that we would have protested, and that will see the flight of jobs and companies from our state. I think that's very important for us to know. Now, giving you that a shock, a little bit of a shock if it's a shock, but I think if we don't know where we are, no map will help us, isn't it? I think it's quite important for us to know where we stand. Now, if you look at what should be, that being the background, and also the background of having achieved significantly during the early stages of Kerala, Human Development Index, Sustainable Development, the least poverty state, and the least corrupt state, and high usage of internet, smart devices, all of this. What should be our vision? And I would like to also cite what is the strength of our state? What are the strengths of Kerala? As an investor, as a business person, and also a person working with always the government successively, one after another, I can say this 4 things. 1, talent. Our people are, not all of them, and considerable part are not in the state, but we have no dearth of talent, absolutely great talent. Number 2, if you look at the kind of industries that we are talking about, infrastructure is great in our place. Yeah. And number 3, there is no other state in the country, which I can say with experience, that the access to the bureaucracy, the people who implement the government's policy, and the access to the executive, the ministers, I cannot find any other state having that. I'm not saying that they will solve all our problems, but at least we have a door to knock. We can actually access them. And the last one, this is something that I keep saying. Regardless of the protests that we make, we are a very stable state, socially and politically. You will not have a situation where a CEO will get beaten up if you start a company here, because even much before that, there will be protest and that situation will not arise. There's high degree of legitimacy in our state. See, rules and laws are there in all the states, but a population who is people, citizens who are aware of their rights, that interplay brings the legitimacy. So these are our strengths, but we do also have our predicaments. What's our predicament? If you really want to look ahead, and if you want to predict the future of a place, in economics, the economic future of a place, there are 3 things economists use. It's called the flow of talent or people, flow of capital, and flow of goods and services. The flow of, so a place will become great when you are able to attract, nurture, and retain talent. That's very important. Number 2, we need to create meaningful jobs. Why do people leave a place? Is because they want to have well-paying jobs. And for that, we have to have investment. Not only our own investment, we should also be able to motivate others to come and investment. Like all the efforts that we are actually doing is to actually motivate others to come and invest here. And that is another one. That's flow of capital. And the flow of goods and services, whether you are a net consumer or a net producer. If you're a net consumer, your income has to be supplemented by something, somewhere. It's happening in our case, it's mostly the NR case, basically. You know, on all these 3 counts, ladies and gentlemen, the flow of people, that means healthy migration, and the flow of goods and services, because Minister would definitely know with the GST collections, we clearly know the interstate trade, and whether we are surplus, we are hugely at a deficit. And also the capital investments of the FDI that we received last year in the country, which is about 50 billion, our receipt is not commensurate. Most of our investments are with people who are investing within the country. So the economic prognosis has to be better. For that, we have to do things better. Let's actually visualize what can be the vision for this state. I'm taking more time than probably allocated. I would see the vision of our state should be the finest place to live, that we can stop there. Kerala should be, in our minds, in our hearts,
In anything and everything that we do, we have to keep in mind the vision of this place is it is the greatest place to live. If it's a great place to live, it will be a great place to work as well. There's no doubt about it. And if that's the case, there are only two things I would request the government to focus on. Only two things. Only two things. Clean Kerala. This should be a clean place. Properly waste managed, clean waters, clean backwaters, swimmable, backwaters, all of those. The second one is safe Kerala. These both are highly lauded one, and all of that is referring to infrastructure and our social behavior. So what is safe Kerala? Safe Kerala means safe to drink water, safe to eat food, safety from disasters, and safe to travel roads. If we make these two, the rest will be done by the enterprising Keralites. So when you frame our policies, if you do this, and now the beauty is that we can work from Kerala. You can work anywhere, work from anywhere, and work from Kerala. So this should be our plan. And we can talk about all kinds of, if you really want to address the unhealthy migration which you and me talk about, because people live en masse, we have to have successful enterprises, profitable enterprises, very profitable enterprises, and well-paying jobs. It cannot be government jobs. It has to be very successful enterprises, more profitable. We have a problem, that's the legacy of the British. Profit was associated, and it was perhaps right, to exploitation. But today, profit means that you produce more than what you consume, and you do what is needed by the people, and you do it efficiently. That's what profit means. We have to change the mindset. Let me also take this with the minister here. We do have because of our colonial legacy, when they left us 200 years, we did not grow. Our country did not grow during the 300 years. Of the 300 years, 200 years, we didn't grow. 88 of the 100 people of this country could not read or write when they left. And our average life expectancy was 32 in 1947. And from there, we are here. And so therefore, we do have a problem with corporate, because they were corporates. What is a corporate, ladies and gentlemen? You start as a startup. Then you have one or two more branches. You move to another state. Then you probably operate globally. Then you need to have compliances, governance, process. That's what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to learn to use the private sector far more effectively than what we are just. I would like to take this one example of TCS managing passport service. How was passport service in India before, and how is it today? And if you really look at all of our airports, Air India all days, now you look at, and if I'm saying this, whether private sector or public sector, it's our own people. It's our own people. Nobody is bringing people from outside. Except that, like what the minister said, there should be enough money for the government for public spending. All the infrastructure, basic health, basic education, law and order, all of this only government can do, private cannot do. In my view, government should be able to get more and more and more tax money, but generating more and more GDP and consumption, not by increasing the tax rates, but increasing the tax net. So, I've strayed a little bit around, but let's actually focus on few things, enabling things, and the government not directly getting involved. Let's actually focus on R&D. Of course, IT, tourism sectors, all of these sectors are promising for us. Healthcare is promising. I think all of those will emerge by itself if government can actually limit and restrict its focus on some of the areas. Clean Kerala, this has to be the cleanest place. People should be very proud of this place. And this should be the safest place for people to live. And then everything will fall in place. It's become a little bit generic, but I hope it was useful. Thank you.
Thank you, Sri Dr. V.K. Matthews, for the excellent presentation. You covered on the R&D and the ecosystem for the R&D, the need to, two focus, which you said, Clean Kerala and Safe Kerala. Definitely we'll work on it. In fact, recently one of the German companies, WME, the inventor, he came. He said, you give me any dirty water, I will make it fresh water within 24 hours. He used solar and so we are now working with the water authority. All the Elandur Lake and this thing, you see, even the STP water, you give 100 ml, he will give fresh water, and the remaining he will give briquettes which can be used as a filling material for the national highway. So I think this is innovation, and you need to continuously innovate. Definitely, as Chris also used to mention, unless you innovate, you cannot exist. Second is Safe Kerala. Definitely, I think Honorable Minister is here. Definitely in the next budget, I think we will see what all both. You will definitely take your point, and so thanks a lot. Now next I invite Sri C.J. George. He is a pioneer. He started the Geojit Financial Service. I think probably one of the Kerala, two people I like in the stock market. One is Porunju Veliyat. He started small, but he is here. He has brought how Kerala, we started something called financial literacy, so that make every Keralite financially independent. He should not be totally dependent on. So how to make capital market is where you can get the money. We have built strategies by which you can entry and exit with zero loss of capital, as well as you can make minimum 2% every month. I think Geojit along, and maybe new ways, innovative ways like InvIT, REIT, how best we can use for the infrastructure, probably he will enlighten us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jyothilal. Honorable Minister for Finance, Sri Balagopal, Additional Chief Secretary, learned my co-panelists, ladies and gentlemen. I must apologize to you that I am not planning to talk about how markets can mobilize from Kerala. Rather, I will focus on a couple of points regarding how markets can finance Kerala's growth, that too up to 2031. So 2 points I will talk about. Number one is, CapEx Minister was talking about, the Additional Chief Secretary was talking about how to finance CapEx. I am of the view that except for large projects, the government should slowly withdraw from financing CapEx, particularly small projects. Today, if you look at urban mobilization of capital for CapEx, increasingly globally urban centers are using municipal bonds. In Kerala also, in India also, we started raising resources through municipal bonds. Outstanding is just 3,500 crore at the moment. It's only got started in 2017-18 or so. Then in 2 years we had COVID. Today there are some best examples of municipal corporations raising capital for CapEx in the form of municipal bonds, and there are people to invest. And some could be green bonds like Pune, Pimpri, Chinchwad Municipal Corporation. So there is an excellent model that is in place. I am of the view that in Kerala we could even take this to Panchayat levels. Maybe there is a requirement for enabling regulations, some from the central government, but we must argue with the central government. Either central government should increase the resources allocation, or to provide us the necessary infrastructure, regulatory infrastructure, so that the Panchayat level also, project-wise, special purpose vehicle-wise, we should be able to raise capital from our own NRIs. Probably they will be willing to invest in bonds. So this is one thing we must increasingly utilize as an opportunity. So if 10-15 panchayats are able to raise capital from the market directly, I am very sure it will catch up. Eventually we will have the freedom, financial freedom, to support resources through municipal bonds. So this is a case with local governments. The other point on which my fellow panelist, Mr. Sanjay Dash, is going to talk is silver economy. I am of the view that we are going to face significant crisis from voltage security if we don't plan right away. We have models available from China, from Singapore, from Japan, etc. So we must find out how to finance the longevity institutions, the senior care institutions, infrastructure, etc. We must not necessarily in the line of KFC. I am of the view that we should have a longevity finance corporation that should issue longevity bonds as green bonds sometimes, raise capital and invest that money in panchayat level, rural level for people to start care homes, care facilities, to bring robots for healthcare delivery, etc. So we should be in a position to use markets for the benefit of panchayat level, urban level, senior living infrastructure. So this is silver economy crisis we are going to face unless we plan and unless we utilize the market for this kind of resource mobilization, we will not be able to support the system. So these are the two proposals that I have for raising funds, and I will be very happy to take any questions, and this will help Kerala to raise resources through market. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. In fact, your idea of municipal bond, in fact, seriously we are thinking about, we give almost 28% to 30% grant. Why not make it incentive for maybe 25 plus 5% extra, or they become 30. That 5% for bringing in, there are certain panchayats which has got quite capable of paying it, especially those in the fringe of the corporation areas. Anyway, those, definitely this is a very good idea we can think of. Second is longevity, that anyway Mr. Sanjay Dash will also be covering how best we can tap the funds even from very good experiences in Japan and other. In fact, INJAC is arranging a seminar on 16th at Kochi. So I think this will be a good model which to follow. Thanks a lot for giving these two suggestions. In fact, we would like you also to be part of the financial literacy movement to make Kerala 100% financially literate so that people know how to manage their fund. Now how to mismanage, they know, they have got expertise, but how to manage it, how to increase it, how to compound your money. 2% growth every month if you can get, that is good enough return. So I think that's another point which you can work. And next I would like to invite Dr. Balasubramanian, who is the director NFTDC. He will talk about critical minerals and the magnets. Kerala can be the magnet capital of India, as well as probably Columbus didn't have the GPS. Now Sundar Pichai has brought a Google map. So I think it is time for Columbus to come back to the place where he is looking for the land of the spices. Now I think we have got the Vizhinjam port also. Now Kerala will be able to export magnets also to other countries if they also listen to our willing to listen to us. You can't put unilateral. Second is the 3 to almost 8% thorium is there. So that means they say 1 ton can give 1000 terawatt hour. That means roughly around, we have got 1 lakh tons at least in Kerala deposit. That means 1000 lakh crore we are sitting on a wealth. That is thorium alone, apart from magnet. I think the critical energy and maybe a green energy, the rare earth corridor and a roadmap for developing these rare earth to attract more investment into. In fact, all big companies, including Vedanta, is shown interest in investing in the rare earth, because we are having one of the best rare earth in Andhra, Orissa and Kerala. And we have got the ecosystem because KMML is there, titanium is there. So I think we have got the people. Now how that tech ecosystem can be built, I think NFTDC Director Bala will talk.
Thank you, Honorable Minister and Mr. Jyotiralji ACS and my distinguished panelists. For the last 6 months I have been eating his brain and he has been eating my brain. That's what has been happening. And I come from Hyderabad. I am originally from Chennai or Madras. Studied in IIT Kanpur, like everybody else, went abroad, did my doctorate. But Dr. Kalam asked me to come back to India. I was 29-year-old, not even married. That's a good thing at that time, because then I was about to take a faculty position in IISc or IIT Kanpur. He said, we are going to do something in Hyderabad, a tech center, which is to deliver at very high technology readiness levels. When you talk of technology, technology is knowledge integration. Science is knowledge creation. So we are all, when you start doing technology readiness levels, you will find that 1, 2, 3 levels is basically trying to do a small 100-gram research or something, publish a paper or write a report. But you have to convert a material using a process to a product. Product is produced by a set of processes. And when you do a process-product integration, you are crossing what is called valley of death, 4, 5, 6. You make alpha prototype, then you put it in a service condition, which is a beta. Then you do supply chain and all the other factors that you start bringing in, and you set up a pilot. And you set up a pilot because you want to study supply chain issues, yield, recovery, energy consumption, techno-economics. Then you go into a basic engineering phase before a plant. Now, if you stop at a lower level TRL3 research of readiness, you are not going to do it. So we have to do material, process, product, plant. So the systems approach tells you that you don't start with what you know or what you can do, what is called the input constrained output. You start the other way around. A systems approach tells you that you start with the output, do the gap analysis, get all the ducks in the row so that you get the output. So you'll see that the systems development is at a very high technology readiness level. 8, 9 it has to reach. See, it has to cross 6 anyway. Now, if you start with many things, there is a valley of death, I said. Even you have 900 ideas, 95 will fail. It is technically possible to do, but, viability gap is there. You can, like EV and all those things, you can give some incentivization, but it is not sustainable in the long run. So, this is what happened. And what Dr. Kalam said was, I was a very young man, so I would have asked, why not? Gung-ho, right? He said, can we do product-based research and manufacturing process research leading to pilot plants, but do it without taking government money? Because only then you can get flexibility and freedom. Number one. Number two, you should do something that somebody is ready to pay for and buy. You should be able to raise an invoice. Now imagine 25, 30 years ago, if you are thinking like that, we did that. We said, yes, we can do that, but we have to be in a niche and advanced areas. Because the pilot itself will start giving you the money, and if it becomes too much, we can create a special purpose vehicle. So that's how we started, and a lot of things we did, from materials, we moved to components, to systems and design, electronics, and so we were able to do a lot of design work. For example, in 2012-11, ISRO Chairman Madhav Nair said, cryo engine is a big deal and Russia is not going to help us much, and so can we make it, the materials for it? I said yes, and I saw on their board there, lunar and planetary missions. I asked, what is it? Oh, it's 10 years from now, you'll get all those planetary, lunar missions and all that. That's a big engine. Now we are in the small one, you do this first. So, but I kept in the mind, whatever facility and process I develop today should be sized correctly so that I can do that 10 years from later. I didn't tell him I'm going to do that big, but we nucleated it. And if you see all the Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan, Gaganyaan missions, all the materials has gone from our hand. Big sizes, 2 meters, 1 meters, which makes us big engines. We were quiet. We never advertised. Everybody else has advertised, but we didn't. So that's the story of how you go from material to a very advanced product. And when you go from a material to a very advanced product, you need a lot of design capabilities, control capabilities. We built all of them. I can't talk all about it, but all I'm saying is I want to leverage all the things. So it just so happened, for the last 15 years, we were working on permanent magnets. And we even had a pilot. All processes. So I went to the government, that was just after COVID time, wouldn't we put a plant, give me 150 crores, which is nothing, it's actually peanuts. But they said, no, what is the demand? So sometimes we get into, we Indians are very good in catch-22 situations. If you say, this is possible, then they say, what is our demand? Okay, you can import it. This is very small. So none of the FAs will tell you, why do you have to spend 30 times, 50 times, what is the expenditure on import? So this is where I had a very big disagreement and fights with them, saying that please distinguish capability from capacity. Capability is non-negotiable. And that's what Dr. Matthews also said. We are vulnerable because we forgot to do the capability. And wherever we had the capability, we are not vulnerable. And what I'm saying today is, we are not vulnerable in rare earth magnets, just because we kept the capability alive. I just have to create the capacity. So when you are looking at the vision, look at capabilities that you have to develop, and when the time is right, the capacities will flow. We call it as nucleation and growth in material science. Nucleation, a stable nucleus, is too very important. When the conditions are good, it will just fly. And some of the nuclei will die also. That is part of the fitness function of the nature. So I'll talk about these three areas. I've given the preamble. What are the development and growth vectors for Kerala? And in that, I've taken one of them, and I'm helping wherever possible to create a roadmap with Mr. Jyotilal and Industries Department. And what we are suggesting is, first we do the roadmap, and concurrently we develop a rare earth or critical materials corridor. Gujarat has done rare earth hub. And they are mining still. And you don't have to even mine. It is sitting on your backyard. And in fact, it is sitting as a waste and residue. So you have to go to the second stage of knowledge-based economy. I think that is the drive. So if you look at it, every country or a region looks at what it has already as a natural resource. Right? Japan doesn't have natural resource, so it has to have a different paradigm. Luckily, we have a paradigm in which we can also. So we have land, agri, forest. A land, if you look at it, agri, forest, barren, constructed, you can start making sense. I'll take only one example, forest-based products or agri-based products. Today, if you want to do agriculture, Minister was also talking, you have to go for precision agriculture now. Agriculture is not that our farmers are poor, we are an agrarian nation, 70% of our, we keep on repeating it every day. That dialogue is nonsense. See, today in Bihar, a couple came back and started making strawberries in their father's land, which is only 1 or 2 acres. They said in 1 or 2 acres, nothing is viable. So they started making strawberries. So I think that's what was. So the precision agriculture and careful utilization, there are a lot of things. There is hydroponics, aquaculture. You can do a lot of things. But I'm just giving an example. And RE. This is what you have as resources. Now you have to put knowledge enzymes on it and take out value out of it. Now what is thing that has to be created is a multidisciplinary knowledge and technology resources you have to get. So you cannot keep, you should stop tendering. You can't tender for knowledge. Can you give me technology? You can't, you should not ask for technology anymore. You say, I'll start developing it. I can have strategic partners, but I have to have a nucleation. You need knowledge tech centers for each of the identified thrust areas. And I am suggesting, very important is RE and critical materials, tech or a corridor and a tech hub. then you have multi-level skilled HR resource. So what we are saying is that skilling, we are talking about how to do it, what to do it. Skilling means immediately it's a business, somebody puts it online, you collect some money and you say 6 weeks or 6 months, I'll give you a certificate course. No. If it is, let us say, in a particular area of a rare earth-based mission or something, there I have to do deliberate skilling. And even in this, I don't mind even if you take a cess, put a cess and take money and put it in that. Even if you say every kilogram, I don't know. I don't know what Kerala is collecting as royalty or resources for all this sand that is being going out for whatever it is. But the point is that you have to put it back in the knowledge creation. And that is the part of it. So from vocational to research scholars, the whole bandwidth you have to develop, and that is what it is. Manufacturing ecosystem, others have covered very well. High-tech, digital and sustainability. Services-based economic activity. The last one, I don't know whether you can see it, I have written, you have to become a financial attractor. I think others are more, well-versed in that and expertise to talk about it. I am not good at it. I could only manage a self-financing tech center in high-tech area, which is like business. R&D as a business is more dangerous than business as a business. I'll tell you an anecdote. When Concorde was inaugurated, the French S&T minister said there are 2 ways of running a country bankrupt. One, the Roman way. You made a lot of money, you start merrymaking and dissipating. Second is do high-tech science and technology, you can bleed. Budget overruns, time overruns, etc. I mean, they were ahead of their time. Concorde was far ahead of their time because they were not looking at the market. So you have to become a financial attractor. That's what it is. So I'll give you an example. It is always good to talk about an examples. 2.3 crores is the population of Taiwan and Sri Lanka. I don't know how much is Kerala, 6, 7? So if you take Sri Lanka was on tea and tourism. If tea and tourism, one is export, other is getting foreign people in, let us say our domestic and foreign tourists. Apparel, textile. They had minerals, graphite, and the same beach sands that you have, they also have. Okay, Tamil Nadu coast and Kerala coast is extending into east and west side of Kerala. Taiwan went into semiconductors, ICT, high-end precision manufacturing, heavily invested in infrastructure. You go and read about Taiwan, you'll see that expenditure on infrastructure was continuous. Okay, and high proportion of exports in GDP, heavy reliance on import of raw materials. They have to survive. Anyway, they have some other existentialist threat. But this is how 2 countries have taken 2 paths. One went on a knowledge economy very well. Other was, Goa and Sri Lanka are relaxing, because of the tourism. And, and that's a problem. So Jack Welch, when he came to India and when he was restructuring GE, he said that imagine the assets that you have to create. Imagine it like the poles of a tent. Even if one pole is down, the tent won't go. You have to create physical assets, that is your capex and everything. You have to create knowledge assets. And knowledge is an embedded quality. It is inside individuals, it is inside a product, it is inside a manufacturing equipment. We did not invest in developing manufacturing equipments and lines. That is why we are importing equipment also. Financial assets, that's what others have talked about. Brand asset. Your reputation walks before you do. And finally, the leadership, which builds the tent. No, this is the metric of whatever we do. If I am creating an RE mission or a corridor, I have to say that, look, how I have moved in these assets. Okay, you are in a sweet spot. So, you be careful. Don't fritter it away. What is it? We have the most, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, only these 4, have the most sought after resource. In fact, beach sand is taken only for thorium and uranium by DAE, but that's a very small, that's a residue. Bulk of it is other minerals, which is not their use at all. But they have taken it, and what has happened? All the other things that have written, RE, titanium, all are not taken out. Okay, ironically, inadvertently, it is still sitting there. If somebody has, if it has been taken and gone, it would have been. Literally, it has given away for free as of date. So you have time to wake up and transform this ecosystem. Go for the entire value chain. I put it in red. Sorry, I'm being little provocative, but you have to do it. No choice. You have two more. I don't know whether you can see it down. Hydrogen-based economic activity in processes and mobility. Advanced carbon materials. Agriculture to advanced carbon. You know that parachute coconut, this thing, that company, the external shell part of it is converted to advanced carbon fiber. So the carbon is a very important material. Okay. Now I look at, I have only a few slides, 3 more slides. You take all the materials. We had steel, aluminum, copper, lead, zinc. This is called base metals. They all will be done in millions of tons. And it is distributed throughout the world. You have 30 critical materials, out of which 10 are very important, which has been designated as technology critical materials, which can go in grams or milligrams into millions and billions of devices. See, our cell phone has 30 or 22 critical metals are sitting inside our cell phone. Okay. Now, if you look at the resource inputs that is required, resources I mean knowledge, facilities, finance, versus impact. So I made this slide for Prime Minister's office, and National Critical Minerals Mission was launched. 2.5 years I was involved in it, pushing for it, but I started this thing, technology metals. 2012 I said this is important, please do it. But it required a lot of other external forces to be. Low, medium, high. If you look at it, RE and this thing is sitting like, I just have to put medium level of inputs, knowledge, facilities, finance, I get the highest impact. Because it has a force multiplier effect downstream. And if you look at carbon, hydrogen, platinum group, lithium, then I have medium to high. So you start investing today, you will get it tomorrow. So hydrogen is very important because I think you are already well advanced in that in terms of rest of India, because it is not geography dependent like Middle East or China has resources, and it is totally technology dependent. It is totally knowledge dependent. Either you crack methane or you crack water, right? You can do it anywhere. So you can use it in processes. So hydrogen economy, blue economy, and the critical minerals economy. And here I am telling you, please let it be, I encourage only Indian companies. So I have developed 2 companies. So I created a special purpose vehicle because it was taking more time for government of India to decide. So I created a special purpose vehicle with another private company in Hyderabad who was into mining as well as decarbonization. And I'm also developing Coal India and a public sector so that they can invest and set it up. It is not that via a tender you can easily get, you need capabilities to be developed in India. Otherwise, every Tom, Dick and Harry will come because you have a resource. They are only eyeing your resource. It is better that we Indians do it and own it. I hope you are with me on that sentiment. So if I give star rating, okay, you are getting a 5-star rating in raw materials. These are the 3 risks. I don't know, finance people will always ask this thing. De-risk. What is your supply chain? Is there a risk? Second, plant and machinery. If you don't get spares tomorrow, what are you going to do? Process. Capacity building end to end. Are you just stuck somewhere in the middle, or the market for that goes? So you can produce oxide, you can produce metal, you can produce magnet, you can produce a motor, you can produce a drone, you can produce a driver, whatever it is. It's a huge line of value chain. And this has a force multiplier effect. So you can create 1 lakh high-tech jobs. So what to do and how to do it? My last 2 slides, sir. I hope I have not taken more time. We are now doing the roadmap for Kerala for critical materials as a mission. That means gap analysis. That's what we have a reference where we are today, where we should go. Capability and capacity building endeavors. You don't have to ask others always. Let us nucleate a high-tech center. We will help to do it. Then this other ecosystem, not very difficult, which will go downstream and establish the rare earth mission corridor. Gujarat has done rare earth hub. So the southern states and Odisha can easily do it. So that's what I said. So finally, in the PMO meeting as well as in the coordinating meeting chaired by Cabinet Secretary, I said, let us enable the states to do it. States plus private public sector partnerships or some models which are already there will make it happen. So this is what it is. So for this we have to create a dedicated mission directorate in Ministry of Industry and GOK. These are now last slide, specific recommendations. So it has to be a very small technical plus project management team with less bureaucracy. You first create it. So you need a nucleus. See, things in India succeeded wherever there was a mission mode of implementation. Identify the technology better, but fully go through material, process, product, plant. You start with the plant as an output, not as bottom. We will get all the other ducks in a row. Concentrate on not only on magnets, but TiO2. TiO2 is that we have the 4th largest reserves in the world. We are exporting ilmenite, importing pigment grade TiO2. $4 billion. And we are exporting some 30, 40, or I don't know, $1 million. And our construction industry and everything uses TiO2 based, pigment based paints. So it's a very sad story everywhere. Export raw materials like iron ore, import advanced steel. We are having the same problem, right? So let us kick the problem. And TiO2 or styrenium slag, next generation process with green hydrogen is possible now. You don't have to go with the old pollutant. Rapid scaling to pop. We need concurrency. We can't do it in series mode. Identify downward sector products on day one. Smaller for downstream and larger projects is only the materials. Skill development program specific to this sector. And last but not least, come out with policy paper on cabinet approval ASAP. So this is the last slide. That was the roadmap. This is the corridor. Enlarge the mission directorate and create a dedicated department, including regulatory framework for implementation. It's a directed development, concept to plant to recycling and zero discharge. Identify parcels of land in the corridor for long lease. State to be a stakeholder with equity for land parcel. Bring in utilities at scale, single window due diligence, dovetail hydrogen and other missions appropriately. So this is my thought and a vector that I try to present. And in 3 years, 3 to 5 years, you can usher in a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bala. So that multi-billion opportunity is now unfolded. Both the mission as well as the critical energy mission as well as a corridor is the idea which you will help us in building up. So thanks a lot. Now, due to paucity of time, we'll take the questions at the end. Now we'll quickly finish. 3 more speakers are there. Dr. Srimati Mini Antony will talk about the KIFBI's achievements. Please limit to 10 minutes. Thank you.
Honorable Finance Minister, ACS Jyotilal sir, distinguished panelists and respected delegates. In the famous poem, which is popularly known as the poem of the last century, WB says, turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart, the sender cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. By using the strong imagery of falconry, the poet says that for any successful mission, for any successful flight, there should be adequate restraint as well as flexibility. In the last decade, we, Malayalis especially, we learnt a lot. It was a great learning period. The devastating flood of 2018 and the long period of COVID gave us so many lessons. Things which we regarded durable and everlasting have proved elusive, passing fancies. In our search for the true and the stable, we turned to the depths of our inner being. We started searching for new, sustainable models. And in this background only, I have to explain about Kerala Infrastructure Fund Board and how it is a good model and why the state has selected such a mechanism for the infrastructure development of the state. These are the key areas where we have to give some kind of special attention. Knowledge and innovation economy, digital transformation, green and climate resilient initiatives, human capital and skills, inclusive and regional development, and policy and governance reforms. Kerala Infrastructure Fund Board also gives importance to these areas, to these ideas, and in the case of its history, we can see two different phases. The first phase, it's a low-profile one. Actually, the organization started in the year 1999, and we are reaching the Silver Jubilee. We are going to plan the Silver Jubilee celebrations on the 4th of next month. But the first period was slightly a low-profile one. Balyum, Kaumarum, Kurachuru, low-profile ആയിരുന്നു. But this is the youth that യൗവനമാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾ കാണുന്നത്. After the amendment, it came into force in the year 1999 through the Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Act 1999. And at that time, around 1,023 crore through issue of 3 series of redeemable and non-convertible, non-statutory lending rate bonds were collected. But after that, there was a period of silence. Then the amendment came in the year 2016. In 2016, as per the provisions of the Act, the amended Act, KIFBI became the nodal agency for scrutinizing, approving, and funding major infrastructure projects, including PPP projects. The salient features of this organization are: it has a mandate from the legislature, then it mobilizes funds as well as it monitors the projects. Financial support with ring fencing is in place, and a strong governance system is also there. There is a Fund Trustee Advisory Commission. It acts as the trustee to ensure that all investments of the fund serve the purpose and intent of the Act. Therefore, so much of accountability and transparency is there. What is the difference between the conventional approach and the approach of KIFBI? The conventional approach, as per that, our system, a significant amount of time was seen required for the preparation of the project and for implementation of it, for getting approvals, to find the resources, and to start the project. But in the case of, it actually led to escalation in cost of infrastructure development, which was a serious bottleneck in the path of infrastructure development. In the case of Kerala Infrastructure Fund Board, it serves as there is a balance between fiscal goals and financial goals. There is no time delay like that, and it raises funds in the form of debts for critical infrastructure development projects against future receivables of the state, and enables higher capex per capita and bridge gaps in infrastructure. The organogram I am not explaining, but the organizational structure is to be explained a bit because it has a very strong management system. The Honorable Chief Minister chairs the fund board, Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Board, and it is a 14-member board with 7 independent members. The Honorable Finance Minister, the Chief Secretary, the Vice Chairman of the Planning Board, and all the other important persons from the Finance Department and Law Department, representatives of Finance Department and Law Department, and other independent members are there. There is an executive committee, there is a fund trustee and advisory committee. At present, Sri Vinod Roy, former Controller and Auditor General himself, chairs the Fund Trust Advisory Committee. Then Investment Management Committee and Management Committee are there. This is the total allotment chart of KIFBI so far. 21,987 crore has been given by Government of India as share of motor vehicles tax and share of cess on petrol and diesel, and as additional contribution on the basis of the provisions of Section 7 of Kerala Infrastructure Fund Act. Projects so far approved by KIFBI. In the case of infrastructure development, 11,183 projects are seen approved, and the worth is, and the value is 70,473 crore. There is a land acquisition pool also, and it includes 7 projects, and 20,000 crore is earmarked for that. That's also very important because in the case of major infrastructure projects, the land acquisition and the cost which was required was a great bottleneck in the case of the state, and therefore this has become a pool for that. This is the sector-wise allotment graph of projects which are sanctioned. Of course, PWD comes first, followed by water resources, health and family welfare, power, and general education. These are the 7 projects which are seen included in the land acquisition pool. The most important is the widening of the national highway, which is happening now just because of this financial arrangement, and the Kochi-Bangalore Industrial Corridor, Petrochemical and Pharma Park, Development Global City, Life Science Park, and the land acquisition of the HNL, Hindustan Newspaper Limited. The land has been acquired with the help of the KIFBI fund. Along with that, I wish to add that for all the projects, Kerala Infrastructure Fund Board gives land acquisition cost also. That was a great struggle in the case of the development projects. As you all are aware of, Jawaharlal Nehru Urban Renewable Mission, which was a great initiative which had beautiful components like BSUP, UIDSSMT, but the major difficulty for the state to become part of it was that none of these projects were giving land acquisition costs. That was the sole responsibility of the state government. Even urban local bodies were not able to participate in many of the projects because of the struggle that they had to face for the resource mobilization in the case of the land acquisition. In the case of the KIFBI aided projects, this particular difficulty is not there. For all the projects, KIFBI bears the land acquisition cost also. This is the status of the fund disbursement sectoral wise. May be interested because those who are there in the planning sector always ask for the sectoral details. This is the financial year wise distribution of fund. Status of fund mobilization is in a consolidated sheet. Here I want to explain a bit about the masala bond, which was discussed a lot in media and all. You can see that the masala bond was one of the amount that has been seen there in the chart that is 2,150. The whole amount has been repaid. And the other, either from NABARD, the term loan which we get from banks, as per the schedule, repayment schedule, the payment is going on, and there is no such gap in the case of the fund mobilization and the fund repayment. Thus, we have a corpus fund of 2,498 crore. MBT is shown separately, cess on petroleum, additional contribution from government, and thus the total allocation is 24,486. This is the fund position, treasury deposits, and the various other deposits, and it is a total of 10,362 crore. The project and finance management system, KIFBI has adopted end-to-end computerization of the monitoring of projects. Right from the starting of the approval of projects, appraisal, tender verifications, deviations, variations, bill payments, everything is executed through its customized application, the projects and finance management system, and this sophisticated platform integrates inspection protocols, ESG, environmental, social and governance procedures, and other workflows also. It enables seamless end-to-end digital management of projects. The ALM system of KIFBI captures real-time information from the PFMS system, providing its financial predictions.
I think you can share
yes, sir. The details will be shared, and the main aspects of the system are given in the next. And this is the debt sustainability chart, which shows a very safe position. This is the audit management system, which includes statutory audit and CAG audit also. There are initiatives like environmental, social and governance initiatives, which will be separately monitored by a separate wing, which is constituted there. Then technical services to SPV. The SPVs are the administrative departments. Whatever engineering support that they need, monitoring support that they need, technology implementation support that they need, that is also given separately by KIFBI.
You can share the presentation.
Okay, sir, I will be sharing it. Then some of the other initiatives are KIFCON. KIFCON is a consultancy wing of KIFBI, and it gives support to major agencies like Cochin Smart City Limited and Kerala Rubber Limited. Some of the major projects which are going to be implemented are Coastal Highway, Hill Highway, West Coast Canal, Kollam, Punalur, Vizhinjam Kollam Punalur Industrial Corridor. All these are giving lots of hope to the state, and we think that with all this we'll be able to be there with the journey of the state in its path to the sustainable development. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Minnie Anthony, for the excellent presentation. We will share the presentation so that it will be useful. Yeah, yeah. So next, I think Mr. Sanjay Dash, who works for UN, WHO, and other FAO and other bodies, he will talk about is not art of living. They say it should be the best place to live. Art of living, L-E-A-V-I-N-G. Art of living from the, that is also, it's a with dignity. I think that is, so the silver economy or the care economy is very important. How best, what is a good business model by which we can make it happen? Maybe within 7 to 8 minutes. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Honorable Minister, my fellow panelists, and the dignitaries out here. I was told that hunger to angry is the time, so I have a paucity of time. So I'll quickly cover a few points, which is going to make some sense and which is actionable points. One is that the silver care economy by 2031 is a $15 trillion economy. One, it's a pure ecosystem which is working for care economy. The largest market and oldest market in the world for the care economy, which you can take example, which you guys can read, is Japan. Japan's 30% GDP contribution is from the care economy. So you can imagine what's the kind of movement it does to the economy when you kind of embrace it. That's interesting. So one of the things Kerala should look at it. I am not from Kerala. Sorry for that. I'm from Bombay. Mr. Jyotilal sir requested me to be here, and I said on a short notice, so I came in, and I'm into business consulting and technology consulting globally. So one of the points you should take as a Ministry of Finance and is one, to make some policies, simple policies. Just follow Japan model. You can go ahead and partner with a city called Osaka to just get the model, cut, copy, paste. You don't have to waste time because time is importance in this business. And Kerala stands in a cusp of amazing time because of you guys lead the services side and also the tech side. And this is a beautiful business where both of them come together. I think George had said the AI has taken over the technology and there's a lot of challenges. Elder tech and care tech is the new buzz. Using AI, robotics, everything, machine learning, deep learning, you can keep doing. So look at it as one recommendation. Also, the big global Japanese giants, Yokohama, Toyota, any of these companies, they are willing to fund the initiative on the country or the state level. So that's a pure actionable points, and you can all look at it, and any questions I'll take. One more thing, and that will be the kind of interesting. If you want Japanese around you and they want them to spend money, quickly they will spend money, and there is enough evidence and examples available in the world and in India as well, is can you please make a good golf course in this city, in this whole Kerala? There is no golf course. Just make it, they will come and spend money here. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Probably I think we'll work on 2-3 projects on how to make Kerala as the best destination for art of not only living, art of living also. Next, last speaker is Dr. Unnikrishnan, K-Disc Innovation. They are doing a lot of works, including LTO battery, lithium you import from Australia, then titanium is already here. Your LTO battery, lithium titanium oxide battery, they started making here. Lot of innovation he is doing. Maybe another 5 to 7 minutes so that we will take one question at the end. Thank you.
I have a PPT, but I will not run through the PPT. I'll just quickly skip some slides and finish it fast. As the Honorable Minister had pointed out, Kerala is a second generation, facing second generation problems. And more importantly, Bala had been talking about the great opportunity of the mineral science, definitely. But Kerala is primarily a resource-constrained economy. If you look at ferrous minerals, Kerala is nowhere. If you look at non-ferrous minerals, Kerala is nowhere. If you look at minor minerals, Kerala is nowhere. But the fuel minerals, we have nothing. Accelerated Blockchain Competency Development Program, Manjadi Madivil, our education programs, and YAP. These are focusing on these the issues, stagnating economy, the culture of innovation for problem solving. We are looking at KMTC, the Kerala Medical Technology Consortium, Center of Excellence in Microbiome, one district, one idea, where we are essentially strengthening the MSME. We have a accelerated innovation hub, which we are establishing with the support of Niti Aayog. We have a variety of emerging technology projects for the silver economy, which includes cancer screening, diabetic retinopathy, then G-Gator, it's for addressing the care for robotic care for people with disability. I'm not going into details of that. We have elder care hackathons, and we are creating a time bank project also for the elderly. Environment fragility is one of the major issues. V.K. Matthews also highlighted that. So landslide prediction and a variety of green energy projects, Miyawaki, zero waste hackathon, waste management. These are the important projects that we are doing. I will not go into details. I will cut short my presentation because there has to be time for discussions. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Probably we'll share the presentation with all lot of innovation. I still remember NASCOM Kiran Karnik, when he came, he was telling his batchmate after IAM, he went for selling, he was selling washing machines in Punjab. He asked, why suddenly Punjab, the washing machine demand has gone up? He said, they make lassi. There is a movie in which a lassi, you put that everything on top and the output is the water comes out. The drainage pipe, they fill it, they can fill the lassi. That is what frugal innovation. India is known for frugal innovation. Other technology, they will never think of such a thing. So I think that is, so with innovation, I think we will conclude this session. I will request the Honorable Minister, maybe we will take one question, sir, before we conclude. Maybe one question, because due to paucity of time, anyone who has got a pressing question, or else you can talk to the, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shivadat. ഞാൻ SMSൽ MBA പഠിക്കുന്നു. എൻ്റെ 2 ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഉണ്ട്. ഞാൻ ഏറ്റവും വേഗത്തിൽ പറയാം. ഫസ്റ്റ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ VK മാത്യു സാറിനോടാണ്. ഞാനൊരു ആർട്ടിക്കിളിൽ സാറിൻ്റെ ഒരു സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെൻറ്റ് ഉണ്ട്, സെറ്റിംഗ് അപ്പ് IBS ഇൻ കേരള വൺ ഓഫ് മൈ ബെസ്റ്റ് ഡിസിഷൻസ് എവർ. അതെന്താണ് സാർ അത് പറഞ്ഞത്? സെക്കൻഡ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ബാലഗോപാൽ സാറിനോടാണ്. വൺ ഓഫ് ദ മോസ്റ്റ് ഇഷ്യൂസ് നമ്മളിവിടെ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ഫേസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് നോ പ്രോപ്പർ വേസ്റ്റ് മാനേജ്മെൻ്റ് ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ അതിനെ ടാക്കിൾ ചെയ്യാൻ ഗവൺമെൻറ് എന്താണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്? പിന്നെ ഇൻഡോർ മോഡൽ ഇവിടെ അഡാപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്താൽ അത് സക്സസ്ഫുൾ ആകുമോ? താങ്ക് യു.
Thank you. I'll answer the question. So, as an investor, when you try to invest in a place, an investor is the most nervous of all of the people in the ecosystem, because you are investing money, you are taking loans, you are not really sure how it will all happen. And why I said, it was the best decision. When I look back, of course, this is in 97 when I'm starting, Kerala was not known as an investor-friendly state. A lot of protests and all kinds of things, But if I look back, we haven't lost even a single day of work because of any unrest of any kind. Even when there were strikes and any place will have strikes. At least IT was completely protected because public realized and the government's political parties realized that supporting IT was actually supporting people. So that was one. The second, I wouldn't have been able to create a culture where people take pride in their work. They work with a sense of integrity and transparency and strive for quality and with a deep sense of commitment to the customer. That's a new kind of a culture we were trying to actually work. I came from abroad after working outside for some time, quite some time, and in fact almost all the time. And that's the kind of a culture I wanted to create. If I had started as originally I thought and rented the place in Bangalore, it was a melting pot, actually Bangalore, so I wouldn't have been able to even create that kind of a culture. Plus, what I told you about what's the strength of this place is because we have access to the decision makers, the government, the secretaries or I remember Balagopal, when minister was actually the secretary to the then chief minister from 2006 as the political secretary. And whenever that we had any difficulties, we were able to go to them and they used to solve it. So when I put all of them and add together, I think it's a great place to do business. And thanks to Technopark and Infopark, now you can come, plug and play. So I still believe and I still maintain it in all earnestness.
Sir, I am representing Cochin University of Science and Technology. I am Professor Shivanand Najari, Dean Faculty of Science. My question is based upon the lecture listened to Professor Dr. Balasubramanian. See, sir, the utilization of ilmenite, rutile, titanium dioxide, critical minerals, etc. We have huge resources, but there is a huge knowledge gap between the research and innovations conducting in industry and the universities. Once upon a time, the titanium dioxide preparation, commercialization, that part have been taken by Department of Chemistry, University of Kerala. Lot of research programs in early 60s and 70s done. In that respect, why should we convert some of the industry R&D as a research center so that the university faculties can integrate with them? Any gap area identified in the commercialization industry part can be a PhD or research program. The students can be inducted as research fellows working in university and industry. Huge innovations can be done. Commercialization can be done. That is a huge gap we are facing nowadays in India, especially in Kerala. In that respect, what is your observation, sir, please?
Yeah, this is what is the crossing the valley of death, I said. You will not be, because industry relevant problem definition is not come and it has not crossed the valley of death, you are not seeing a research driven development happening. First, the problems are not defined by industry or this. That is why we want a mission. Once a mission is there, it is becoming directed research. It is not like I am expert in aluminium, therefore till death do us part, I will only work in aluminium. Just because 2 years you did mechanical or material science, your rest of your life you are doing that. So it has to be a directed research, and directed research comes from the mission directed. That's how missions are done. Second part of the question, why can't people go to industry parks or whatever it is where problems can, yes, it is now happening both ways. From industry, people should be able to come to academia and serve few years, and people should be able to be given sabbatical or whatever ways, or even direct time to go and spend in the industry R&D in-house center, and then do the research. Yes, all these things come when you define a bigger system problem, differentiate it into many research problems, from big TRL to a smaller TRL. That's called a bird's view versus worm's view. The worm's view, we attach the academic institution and research. On the bird's view, all the TRL, lower level TRLs are integrated to get a systems output. So this is how we have been doing, and I started 2 PhD programs in SRM University and NIT Warangal, so they could come and even work with us. And these models now exist. It is now being amplified. It will happen.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Vision to make it a reality. Vision, mission and passion. I think all of you showed that passion. So I am sure this mission is going to succeed. Thank you. I would request the Honorable... No, that the other... waste LSCD, I was already addressing that issue which you have mentioned. There is a see, earlier we started with the waste to energy plant. Next one was I talked about any wastewater within 24 hours, there is technology. WME is already demonstrated.
ഞാനിവിടെ അവർ അവതരിപ്പിക്കുന്നവരോടാണ് ചോദിക്കേണ്ടത്, എന്നാലും ചോദിച്ച സ്ഥിതിക്ക് പറയാം. ഞാൻ നിങ്ങളെപ്പോലെ ഓഡിയൻസ് ആയിരുന്നു. ബ്രഹ്മപുരം ഇവിടെയാണ്. ബ്രഹ്മപുരത്തോട്ട് അടുക്കാൻ പറ്റത്തില്ലായിരുന്നു. ഇപ്പോൾ അവിടെ ക്രിക്കറ്റ് കളിക്കാനോ ഫുട്ബോൾ കളിക്കാനോ പറ്റും. ദാറ്റ് ഷോസ് how Kerala is tackling the issue of waste. So surely we will go to more and more development and clean Kerala എന്നുള്ളത് Mr. Matthews പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ we can achieve that. We have to do that together.
Thanks a lot, sir. I request the Honorable Minister to give memento to all the speakers.
ഏറെ വിജ്ഞാനപ്രദമായ ചർച്ചയ്ക്കാണ് ഈ വേദി സാക്ഷ്യം വഹിച്ചത്. ഈ സെഷന്റെ വിജയത്തിനായി സഹകരിച്ച ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട അധ്യക്ഷൻ, ആദരണീയരായ അതിഥികൾ, ചർച്ചയിൽ പങ്കെടുത്തവർ, സദസ്യർ എല്ലാവർക്കും ആദ്യം തന്നെ നന്ദി രേഖപ്പെടുത്തുന്നു. ഇന്നത്തെ സമാന്തര സെഷനിൽ തങ്ങളുടെ വിലപ്പെട്ട ആശയങ്ങളും ദിശാബോധങ്ങളും പങ്കുവച്ച് നമ്മെ സമ്പന്നമാക്കിയ എല്ലാ വിദഗ്ധരോടും നമ്മുടെ കൃതജ്ഞത രേഖപ്പെടുത്തുന്നതിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമായി അവരുടെ സംഭാവനകൾക്ക് ആദരസൂചകമായി ഉപഹാരം സമർപ്പിക്കുന്ന ചടങ്ങിലേക്ക് നമുക്ക് കടക്കാം. ഈ ഉപഹാരങ്ങൾക്കൊരു പ്രത്യേകതയുണ്ട്. ഭൂമി എന്ന വനിതാ കൂട്ടായ്മയുടെ നേതൃത്വത്തിൽ ഉപയോഗശൂന്യമായ തുണിത്തരങ്ങൾ പുനരുൽപാദനം ചെയ്ത് നിർമ്മിച്ചവയാണിവ. ഉപഹാരം സമർപ്പിക്കുന്നതിനായി ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട ധനകാര്യ വകുപ്പ് മന്ത്രി ശ്രീ KN ബാലഗോപാൽ അവർകളെ ഈ വേദിയിലേക്ക് ക്ഷണിക്കുന്നു. ആദ്യമായി ഉപഹാരം സ്വീകരിക്കാനായി ഡോക്ടർ VK മാത്യൂസ് അവർകളെ ക്ഷണിക്കുന്നു. അടുത്തതായി ഡോക്ടർ CJ ജോർജ് അവർകളെ ക്ഷണിക്കുന്നു. അടുത്തതായി ഡോക്ടർ ബാലസുബ്രഹ്മണ്യം അവർകളെ ഉപഹാരം ഏറ്റുവാങ്ങുന്നതിനായി ക്ഷണിക്കുന്നു. ശ്രീ സഞ്ജയ് ഡാഷ് അവർകളെ ഉപഹാരം സ്വീകരിക്കാൻ ക്ഷണിക്കുന്നു. അവസാനമായി ഡോക്ടർ പി വി ഉണ്ണികൃഷ്ണൻ അവർകളെ ഉപഹാരം ഏറ്റുവാങ്ങാനായി ക്ഷണിക്കുന്നു. അടുത്തതായി ഉപഹാരം സ്വീകരിക്കാൻ ശ്രീ മിനി ആന്റണി അവർകളെ ക്ഷണിക്കുന്നു.